Hey, what's up everyone? This is Fedor.
And this is Ross.
And we're coming to you from cheapwatchreviews.com.
And today we'll be reviewing the Hamilton X-Wind. Do you know how it got its name?
Yes, I do. It was really windy outside and Mr. Hamilton was like, "Oh, X-Wind!" He had Tourette's syndrome, and so that's where the name comes from.
It also was featured in the movie X-Men.
Yeah, I believe the Juggernaut wore it, and he said, "I'm a Juggernaut, BITCHXWIND." But that's a little known fact. So that's how it got its name, from two sources.
True. So, yeah, we've been looking to pick up this watch for a long time, both of us. Just because it's such a cool and interesting watch, and finally, we got the right deal, and here it is. So as you can probably tell, it's an aviation style watch, and a lot of the different features on it are really kind of designed with the idea that maybe it'd be useful if you were a pilot and flying.
John Travolta, if he wasn't a spokesperson for Breitling, he would probably have one of these.
That's true. That's true. I think Harrison Ford is the one who represents Hamilton.
Yeah, as the gentleman from Bruno said, Mr. Harrison Ford.
Precisely. So it's a pretty big watch. It's 44 millimeters in terms of width. It's also pretty thick. So if you can see it compared to our Invicta Pro Diver, it's significantly bigger. The Pro Diver is what, 40 millimeter?
40 millimeter case, yeah.
And if you look at kind of just how thick it is,
here, you can just take it out.
Fedor's a lot smarter than I am.
That's absolutely not true. That is false information.
So it's quite thick as well. If you can kind of take a look at the sides, it's 16 millimeters thick. So it's a hefty watch. But the great thing is when it's on your wrist, it just feels so solid. It feels really balanced and really comfortable. And despite being a big watch, it just doesn't feel all that overwhelming, which is one of the reasons that I really love it.
Yeah, I mean, when I put it on, it feels awesome. It feels substantial, but at the same time, because of the leather band, it doesn't feel too heavy. And I mean, I guess it can tend to feel slightly top heavy, just because the actual head of the watch is really quite substantial, where we have, as you can see, a date and date complication. We also have a chronograph.
Yeah.
So as you can see, which comes through as the Valjoux 7750 movement.
Right. And you'll notice that the outer bezel is actually a tachymeter, and it has a couple of other cool features, and two directional slide rule. So I think the idea is that you can measure crosswinds, hence the name X-Wind. That's the third reason. That just kind of happened to fit by coincidence.
Yeah, the other ones are the actual ones.
Right. So there's a lot of features to this watch, which does lead to kind of a more busy dial. But for kind of a modern pilot style watch with these features, that's kind of what you expect. An interesting thing about this watch is the movement's actually placed upside down, which is why the pushers are on the left side as opposed to the right side. But you'll notice these two screw-down crowns. All the crowns are screw-down, which contribute to its 100 meters of water resistance. The pushers are not screw-down, which is a little strange.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this earlier. So the rest of the watch is, pretty water resistant, I'd say, with all the screw down crowns, and we've got a screw down back, but the pushers are not, so you know that you don't actually want to go swimming with this watch.
Right. And all the dials and the pushers feel very, very good. We're impressed with the Hamilton, the fit and finish. It's just really top quality. Feels great for a watch that isn't as expensive as kind of the pure Swiss counterparts like maybe an Omega or a Rolex. You'll notice the case back does have kind of a little display window, and it does have some engraving in there, so it's nicely styled. They don't show you the whole kind of movement in there, but the little window is pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it gives you like a little bit of a strip tease, unlike a lot of the other watches with a full exhibition display case back where they're like, hey, here I am. It just doesn't leave a whole lot to the imagination.
Right, which I like. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I like as well. It teases me.
Right.
But like I said earlier, it has the venerable Valjoux 7750 movement, which kind of has that really cool rotor wobble when you. But it kind of happens intermittently, right? I believe you're more experienced with that than I am.
Yeah, you know, when it's not very well wound up, and you kind of move around a bit, sometimes the rotor can kind of get some momentum and really start spinning, and you can almost kind of feel the vibrations through your wrist. It feels really, really cool, and they call that the rotor wobble, which I actually like. I think that it feels great.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool as well. So one of the details on the face that's kind of hard to show, but you can kind of see the light playing off of the Arabic numbers. So what that tells us is that they're stainless steel and they're applied indices, but they just look really, really, really sharp. It's not cheesy at all. It makes it look very substantial. And then we've got the subdials, the silver subdials, which also really, I think, add to the overall look of the watch. And the next thing to note is the incredibly thick leather band, which is ultra plush, ultra soft. It's flexible enough to where you're comfortable on the wrist, but at the same time, it's still stiff enough to where it provides a good amount of support.
Yeah, and you'll notice a lot of detail on the strap as well. The leather stitching, which looks really nice, and the finishing on the end, the clasp, is really nice as well. So, you know, I just really love, so you can see the Hamilton stitches are engraved in here. Just the fit and finish on everything is just great. Another thing I really like about the dial is you notice on the subdials, there's actually a little bit of texture to them. So it's kind of nice to have the play and the contrast between the flat primary dial and then the textured subdials. But overall, I think it's a great watch. It's super comfortable. It's not overwhelming. It's got a lot of really cool features to it, and it's not that expensive. If you can pick one up used, it's not, for what you're getting, you know, maybe it's a little more than what we're usually reviewing, but it's certainly obtainable. It's not like a $10,000 Rolex.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. They can be picked up from anywhere from, I guess, $600 to $700 used. And I mean, for the style and the look of the watch and the overall quality, I think it's, I guess, a really, really great deal. Like we said, that we've been basically salivating over this watch for a while, and it's not one that you just go out and pick up because, after all, it's on the very high end of the cheap watches. So it does feel very rewarding, though, to get this watch. It feels very, very special. You have something special on your hands.
I agree. Harrison Ford would be proud.
Harrison Ford is proud. In fact, this has been Harrison Ford from The Fugitive covering this watch. All right, bye. Awkward.